right, everybody, we are here. We've got SableDragonRook ready to do some Shadow of the Colossus, and I'll let you hear from her.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello, hello, everybody. I'm SableDragonRook. You can call me Sable. Okay, Mr. Bird, I'm sorry. You're spinning around so much. Here's the actual title screen. So, this is Shadow of the Colossus. If you've never seen this before, it's one of the Team Eco games, along with Eco and The Last Guardian, which I ran last week. We're going to do a boss rush, and I'm not going to keep us here. So time starts when I enter the first Colossus, so we've still got a hot second, but I've already been through. I've beaten all 16 of the game's bosses, and now we're just going to do them in order via these statues, via time attack, instead of having to run across the map to each one of them. So if we're ready to go, timing is going to start as soon as I hit yes. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. So how are y'all doing today? Hope you're doing good. This guy's name is Valis. He's a big beaver man. Oh, and we have an incentive to pet the horse, which I was going to do before I started the run, but kind of forgot. We'll do it in just a second. So we have our lovely companion named Aggro. She is our horse. She will be with us sometimes. Sometimes we fight bosses by ourselves. Sometimes we fight with Aggro's help. So Valis is the first boss. We have to do these in order. Thankfully, he's also the easiest. He's dead. Rest in peace, buddy. Why has he just got little wormies coming from him? I feel like that doesn't usually happen. Yeah, we're giving head pats to Valis. Right to his brainstem. But in like a sensitive way. So we're going to go through all 16 bosses in order. There are other categories if you are interested in doing them not in order. We can do reverse, you can do odds, evens, random order. They're all separate categories. Also, Mort is over here on cam. He's kind of hidden at the moment. Aggro.
He looks so cozy.
He's like the king of cozy. Here you go, Aggro. 1 pet, thank you very much. And 2 pets, thank you very much. And we can pet Aggro as many times as y'all want, so I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Hey, Sable, could you bump game audio just a notch when you get a chance?
You bet. Okay, this is going to be a whole thing. I can see already. Quad is going to be that kind of guy. I will bump the game audio when I am up on his back. Or rather on his head. Because this beginning part is a little bit timing sensitive. Right there. And I missed. Didn't miss that one. You thought you had me, you big bull man. I can't. It's gonna be one of those days, you know? So unlike The Last Guardian, I do actually have like a grab button this time, and you know, stamina and all that stuff to think about. Wonder is deciding whether he wants to exist on this mortal plane or glitch into the Colossus. It's gonna be great. So we need to pay attention to our stamina bar, which is the bottom right hand corner. That yellow circle, as you can see, is gradually going down as I'm climbing and holding on. And even if I'm not moving, as long as I'm holding, it will be going down. And our goal is to stab these bright shiny spots. Some colossi like this one have more than one. Valis, who we just defeated, had just one, which made him a little bit easy. Is that sigil not going away? Excuse me. Please go away. I swear that thing had like 1/8 of a point of health. It's fine. There are so many minuscule things happening right now to troll me that I'm not even gonna get into it. Hey, Quad. Excuse me. Head pats, buddy. So we've actually gotten really lucky here in that we have a plant. I'll bump the game audio right now. So a plant is going to be something we're going to use ideally fairly often. Let me know if that's better. When these colossi shake, normally Wonder, he'll kind of go noodling around, right? But sometimes, depending on the Colossus, you can grab in just such a location that no matter what the Colossus does, you'll still be able to just stab and do whatever you want, and Wonder doesn't get interrupted. That's called a plant. Some Colossi have them, some don't. Some are finicky, some are really easy. That one was lucky. I don't usually get a plant on Quad's head, but obviously that makes things a little bit faster. And here we go with Gaius. Super iconic for some of the more advanced tricks that you can do on this guy. Purpose of this man is he's got this bracer on his right arm, the arm that's holding the sword. And that's how you're supposed to get up onto him, but you can't get past that bracer because it's all the way around his arm. So you're supposed to make him strike this like metal plate in the middle of the arena, and it'll shatter the thing on his arm, and then you can climb up and do the good old head pats. But that takes kind of a long time, and speedrunners have found many ways to not do that. One of them is to launch yourself off of his sword when he lifts it up like that, which is extremely cool and takes you straight to his head. The other is to hopefully launch yourself like that past the bracer, which is just one of many options. You can launch yourself to his stomach, but then of course you have to worry about getting up onto his back, which is a whole separate thing. It's all physics based. But the cool thing is, if you're new to the run and some of these tricks are intimidating, there's almost always something slightly easier that's kind of like a halfway point, so it's a very accessible speedrun. Gaius, my man, you're like the worst, okay? I'm sorry. You know what? That was a lie. I'm not sorry. You're just kind of the worst. Excuse me, goodbye. Okay, down here we go. He has one on his head, one on his stomach. I was shooting it a little bit with arrows earlier to take just a little sliver off of his health so that we have a little bit less damage to do, so you can see the arrows still kind of stuck out of his tummy. And I do have the potential to have a plant here. There we go. And down he goes. Hi, Morty. I see you've moved a little bit. So is anybody doing anything fun this weekend? It's Friday. For some people, it's finally Friday after a long week. Mort coming out of his cage and doing just fine. We have a friend coming over. So actually, we have a friend coming from across the state, so like a 4-hour drive. And all we do every time he comes over is we just like watch horror movies or horror adjacent, like, you know, just generally scary, dark drama kind of deal. So if anybody has recommendations of their favorite horror movies, niche or not, I would love to hear them because we need stuff to watch.
Excuse me, I'll be super honest. I don't do horror movies too often because a lot of them are like cheap jump scares,
Yeah,
or just
for sure.
grotesque.
They've kind of changed that way in recent years, haven't they? To focus a lot more on that.
But, you know, I'm sure chat's got some cool ideas, so...
Uh-oh, uh-oh. Phaedra, honey. Stop, stop. Alright, purpose of this sweet little girl, whose name is Phaedra. She's a horsey. There's this whole arena over to the right that you can't see that we're not even using. It's made of like graves that are all connected underground. And you're supposed to lure her over and go in one grave and then using the underground pop out of another one. And she'll be looking around being like, where did you go? And she'll lower her head like this to look for you. And then you can sneak up on her from behind while she's looking at you in the place that you originally went into. But of course, all of that, luring her over there and all that takes time. So we just kind of cheesed our way up onto her back, or rather her butt, from one of her legs. And now it's just a matter of, she only has one sigil. So, sorry honey. And as she goes down, we're going to be heading on to Avion next, Colossus number 5. As his name suggests, he's a big flappy boy. He's a bird. He flies. So the goal of Avion is just don't fall in the water. That's all we got to do. Stay on Avion, and we'll be good to go. In the meantime, this would be a great opportunity to hear about incentives, the event in general, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so CJ actually just mentioned in chat, if you pet the horse, a child gets to eat some peanut paste. Technically, we have to pet the horse twice to get some peanut paste for a kiddo, but the idea is still there. Still a great idea. Petting the horse is just $5. Feeding the peanut paste is $10 instead. As for incentives, we have one to kill Benny in Fallout New Vegas. We have a bid war for the character name in Fallout. We have an upgrade for Metal Gear Solid 2 later today to upgrade to Tanker Plant as opposed to just Plant %. We have an incentive tonight for Amahumahaba to throw in a bonus 8-star Mario 64 speedrun after Banjo-Tooie, which you guys gotta know, it's gotta be Lethal Lava Land, right? At least I'm pretty sure he said that's what we're doing, if we get it. And then the last one for today is visiting the Talking Grunt at the end of Halo 3.
Fantastic. You're gonna turn? Of course you are. Alright, so we're up on Avion. Avion has one weak spot on each wing, and then one on his tail. If I was a cool, swagalicious bro, I would drop from his wing to his body right here, but that's scary, and takes a long time to recover from if it doesn't go well. So really, like I said, we want to stay out of the water. No falling off of Avion. We're gonna do this all in one go. And Avion is clearly gonna make that challenging because my stamina is very quickly running low. So we regain stamina as long as we're not actively gripping, which I am currently not. Do not turn, you giant bird. Thank you. One stab into each of the wingtips. Most of his health is in his tail, which is really, really easy. So as long as we can get back there, we'll be good to go. Oh, he's right up against the wall. My stamina, buddy, finish your turn, please. Okay. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. So the hitbox for his sigil on his tail is actually very far away from the actual sigil, which means that we don't have to run all the way back to it in order to stab it. And we're done. A very nice Avion.
While you were doing that, we did get a nice little donation from Anonymous. A $25 donation, actually. Ooh. I shouldn't say. So they would like some horse pets, and they put Flossie for the name for Fallout, and also Kill Benny. And what that did, actually, we're over 2,500. So now we're gonna squeeze Shaq Fu into this weekend too of SDAT 2024.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I will be happy to give Aggro some pets. Sometimes the death spaghetti takes a hot second to get to me, but that's always when the fight ends. So we have sometimes a little bit of time to contemplate our imminent doom after every Colossus. Next up, number 6, Barba, the king of the dad bod. He's a big, like, minotaur guy, and you're supposed to lure him all the way to the opposite side of the arena, where you can hide kind of underneath a platform and make him look down at you. Then you can grab his big beard and climb up his face. Whoops, that totally whiffed. But instead, hopefully, I'm gonna do a sick launch onto his face. Because so much of this game is all about momentum and physics. Wait. Oh, ha! I saved it. Let me try again. Yo! We actually straight up saved that. That was sick. I was gonna restart, but I don't want to say that Wonder did a good job because it'll go to his head. But Wonder kind of did a good job. And he's got one more sigil here on his back. He is being so cooperative. What is happening? He's not even trying to shake me. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Nah, easy. 51 is a really good time for Barba. My PB, I think, is 46. You love to see it. Alright, let me give Aggro some cheeky little pets once we get back out there. Also, I saw somebody recommend The Ring, of course, and The Grudge. We watched... I'm trying to think of some of the ones that were, like, a ton of fun. We watched something, it was called, like, The Lift or something. It was about an elevator, and it started with, like, a ton of food at the top in a prison, and then every level, like, there was less and less food because people kept eating it, so obviously the people at the bottom were, like, at a severe disadvantage. 1 pet. A 2 pet. Aggro's loving it. A 3 pet. We're gonna save the other ones for between the next fight. Can't spoil Aggro too much. The platform! Yeah, that's what it was called. The lifts. What am I, British? Hi, Mr. Snicky. Mr. Snicky. Notice me. Hi, buddy. Snackman. Snicky, don't you leave. Hi, buddy. Yeah, okay. I swear, I promise, if I don't talk to him in the baby voice, he doesn't notice me. And he will just leave, and this fight will take like 10 minutes. You have to baby talk him or he goes away. So this is Hydrus. He has electricity on his back. And it just hit me, which is fine. We kind of actually expect that. It can kill me. I do have a health bar down in the bottom right. It's that red thing. Usually that's not super relevant in boss rush. But here's one of the, you know, niche situations where it is. We can't take too much damage from those electrical things or we'll die. We'll have to restart the fight. So there's 2 ways to approach this. Both are equally viable if you have the skill to do them. So he has 3 of these electrical barbs, and each of them has a weak spot underneath that you can stab to turn the barb off so that it doesn't shock you anymore. But as soon as you stab the first one, you have a limited amount of time, I think it's 60 seconds, to completely defeat him, or else he goes back under the water and you have to start this whole cycle again. So, I'm just gonna basically tank these hits. Wow, that knocked me back really far. In order to just not start that timer. So that we have a little bit more time to get Hydrus to hopefully do what we want. We are going to take this one out and start the timer here. Because I can't have this thing continually shocking me while I stab the sigil that's on his head, or I'm going to die. And we need to hit every one of these stabs or we are going to run out of time. Stabs like this. He doesn't stay above the water for very long, but easy peasy. One cycle Hydrus. And there he goes. Farewell, buddy. So yeah, we watched the platform. We watched Train to Busan, which was also very good. There was some other movie, I think it was in Spanish. Maybe it was in Portuguese. So obviously I can't remember the name now. There was a sequel. It was about people being trapped in like an apartment building as people slowly turned into zombies. That was also a lot of fun. That was the one, Shuli. Man, you all are good at this. That was the one.
Chad is scarily good at this.
Yes. So the first one we really liked. The second one was kind of like, it was fine. It was remade as Quarantine in English. I had no idea. Oh, wait. Aggro, come back. Come back. I forgot. Pets, come here. Aggro, stop running. Thank you. Gotta give you pets. One pet. Yes. A 2 pet. Very good. Now we can go and fight Kuro. Don't look, Morty. He's a lizard. I'm sorry. So Kuro's whole deal is he's inside this like circular arena. He can climb on the walls because he's, I guess, some kind of gecko. So I'm gonna whistle, get his attention to where he thinks that I am. Of course, I'm moving. And he's gonna come up and check out that location. In the meantime, I'm gonna get in position so that when he gets up there, I can shoot him in the legs. And he's gonna say, "Owie! Why did you do that? Owie!" And down he goes, onto the ground. The higher he falls from, the longer he stays on the ground. And the amount of time he will be on the ground here is basically exactly as long as I need. Of course, I didn't make it up onto his face. That's fine. He's got 2 sigils, but as long as he stays down for as long as we intend and we don't miss any of these stabs, we have plenty of time. If you get the setup, Kuro's pretty easy. I feel so bad though, he's a lizard! I'm sorry, buddy. Hashtag Kuro did nothing wrong.
Mort has decided to sleep instead of watch the lizard.
That's right.
Irish.
Close your eyes, Morty. Did you ever find the secret garden in this game at the top of the starting area? So they made it a lot harder to access in the remake. You still can. And in fact, there's a trophy for like being up there and going to the end of the bridge and stuff. But it used to be in the original PS2 version, once you... I don't think you had to max your stamina as long as you knew like the very specific path to take with like diagonal jumps that were more stamina efficient than regular jumps and all that stuff. But in this game you do have to max your stamina and you have to do it very, very specifically. But it is possible to get up there. And it's very cool, just as in the original game. Very pretty. And in the time it took me to explain that, we have skipped essentially this entire boss. This is the boss, if you recall, if you've ever played this, that you lead out into this field of geysers. This is Bassaran. And once you get him to stand over top of a geyser, it will hit him in the tummy, and he'll kind of roll over because of the force of the geyser hitting him like that. And we didn't have to do any of that. Instead, I did a technique called Rib Strat, where we ride up to him, we grab his rib, because he will always, if you set it up right, he will always start the fight by shooting those lasers, which gives you the angle that you need to get up onto his ribs like that. And then... oh boy, Bassa. Stop, my man. And then it's just a matter of getting onto his back. And then it's a matter of stabbing him, of course, which is extremely difficult. So what you're seeing, all this jittering that keeps knocking Wonder over, is a PS5 specific dealio. And this is honestly what makes Bassaran so hard. He'll get stuck in this loop, which you're seeing now, of throwing his head like that. And then you can keep watching him just do these little jitters that keep interrupting these stabs. So this is where the majority of the time on Bassaran goes. We started out so promising. Whew. Still, you know, pretty decent, but that little section in the middle, he started to be a real troll. Yeah, that's the thing, like, so you can go across the map and you can get the stamina lizards, which are the ones with white tails, which I would encourage you, as, you know, the resident lizard lover here, to just shoot them in the tails, because then they'll drop their tails and you can eat their tails and increase your stamina, but they'll get away and they'll be safe. So you can go and get all of the lizard tails on the map, and that will help to max your stamina, or you can just, like, beat the game a bunch and keep playing on New Game Plus, because that will slowly increase your stamina as well. But you need, like, a ton of stamina to get to the top there. So here is Mr. Dirgy Dirge, Sand Snake. His shtick is that he's got big ol' eyeballs. Hey, buddy. Run, aggro, please. A little faster. Because of these big eyeballs, if we can just shoot him in one of them, he'll get a little confused about where he's swimming to, and he'll run into a wall. Somewhere.
Man needs some sunglasses.
Now, this is where we start getting into a little bit more technique for some of these bosses. You can see in the bottom right that this white circle expands according to me stabbing, right? So you can do big stabs if you charge all the way, or like little halfway stabs if you charge halfway. We did, and I'm going to do it again, 1, which is a full stab. We're going to do a 0.9, which is almost a full stab, and we are going to do a 0.5 into that inner circle, and that's a 1 cycle dirge, specifically because we did 1.9, 0.5. If we had done full stabs on his first sigil, it would have triggered him to move into the second phase of the fight, and he would have left. But by not doing full stabs and breaking apart the damage like that, we can trick him into staying while reducing his health below the half that's needed to kill him once we get to the second sigil. And that's going to be true on a couple other bosses too. By doing very specific stab amounts, we are going to be able to 1 cycle them or change how their fight goes in our favor. Now, chat, I want you to look at this Colossus, and I want you to tell me what you think this Colossus is. Because obviously these are all animals, right? Like, there's like snakes and bulls, and what is that? What is this creature? Uh-oh. Because I think that it's like a tiger or like a panther or something. And apparently, that is not the prevailing opinion. Wonder, please.
Like a boar?
That's a pretty common one. He's gonna get me. I guess he's supposed to be... What is he even supposed to be? I think it's like a Cerberus or something, maybe? Oh no, maybe that's the next one. The little one. This guy, I think he's a tiger, and I know that it's not a tiger. That's what I remember. I feel like this guy's supposed to be some kind of dog, and it's like, he has claws? He just looks very tigerish to me. And also he hates fire, which is why we just did what we did. We lit that stick on fire, which was enough to trick him into falling off of this cliff and breaking his armor, revealing the spot on his back. Alright, I do not have a plant, and I need one, or we are never going to get this fight done. So I just need to basically keep re-grabbing. Here we go. Until we get a plant. So now you can see he's shaking, he's moving. And it doesn't matter because, well, it didn't matter. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Abort mission! Things have gone bad! Okay. Getting a plant is like the only way that you can beat this guy, and I don't know how they expected casual players to do that. Oh no! Buddy, why are you being such a troll? Let me on your back, please. Now he's just gonna keep spinning in circles. He's like just tall enough that I can't get up there. Alright. We really need this plant or we can't stab him. There we go. We're almost there, I promise. You can see Wonder kind of jittering. He's really trying to— oh, come on. He's really trying to find it and then he just slips off every time. This might be the most cursed this fight has ever been for me. That's okay.
It's because we were talking about it beforehand. You practice anything and everything will go.
That's right. You can see me like kind of glitching through him. There! That's all we needed was that little plant. If he has claws, then he's a lawyer. Somebody ban Cheville. So we're gonna pretend that that happened when I stabbed him the first time. All of the stuff in between that was just an illusion. Morty, he's departed somewhere. Where have you gone, my sweet summer child? Okay. Okay. Now this big boy. I don't know what he's supposed to be. He's something for sure. Some kind of, you know, animal? Question mark? But his vulnerable spot is on his tummy. Which means we need to get him to stand up out of the water if we're gonna ever have a chance of touching it. He is being a troll already. You'll love to see it. So I'm gonna climb up on him. Okay, thanks Wonder for proving me wrong. And I'm gonna actually run up his ribs because that's a little bit faster and smoother. He of course has turned just as far as humanly possible from where he's supposed to be, but that's okay. He's got these toofs on his head, and if I smack him, he doesn't like that, and he'll move in the direction that I smack. So I'm getting him over here to these platforms to get him to stand up on them so that we can see his tummy. Wonder, jump, please. Now, Pelagia can be very much a troll, and there's nothing we can do about it, so it kind of just depends on what the AI is going to do here. Sometimes Pelagia just wanders around because he can and he feels like it. Where are you going, my man? Oh, here he goes. Goodbye. I'm shooting arrows at him to keep him angry at me. Ideally, so that he will come over here and continue the fight, but he has different ideas. But this is going to be another Colossus where the types of stabs that we do matter. We are looking for 1.911. That's going to drain his health exactly so that he will die in one cycle. And the 0.9 is going to cause him to stagger, which a full stab would not. And that will cause him to rise back out of the water and give us another chance to stab. That looked like a 0.8 though, so you will see here he'll stagger upwards. And do we get it? Yeah, it was close enough. One cycle Pelagia. So if we had just kept doing full stabs, we would have gotten 2 full stabs, and then he wouldn't have risen out of the water like that. he would have gone back under when we would have needed to take him to one of these other platforms and repeat the process. So by doing that 0.9 and then doing the 1 afterwards, he staggers upwards, and that gives us time to do that final stab. I am trying to locate Mort, and he's a good hider today. I think this is probably, if you asked people, and I will ask all of you who have played this, what their favorite Colossus is, most people are probably going to say this one. This is Phalanx, the only Colossus that just won't attack you. Phalanx has no moves. What is happening? No moves or anything that can hurt Wonder. It's just a big ol' happy sky flap flap. And these little balloon things on its tummy are what's keeping it in the air. So, sadly, aggro, please keep going. Shooting these is the way to bring it down to the ground. And I feel so bad already for hurting our little flap flap friend. He's so good. Need an incentive to let Mort watch piano vids. That's why he's not watching. Surely it's because I have the TV and he doesn't get to have his cute little piano videos.
He is a smart boy. I wouldn't be surprised.
Same principle as some of the other Colossi. If we did 2 full stabs, Phalanx would do like a barrel roll, which is going to interrupt our ability to do this in 1 cycle. So we do a 0.9 and then a 1. The sigil is not going to be dead, but we're going to leave it to continue onwards. We don't want to trigger that barrel roll because it takes forever, and it's going to cause Phalanx to close his flaps and protect these sigils before we're able to get to them. That one was quite close. But he's got 3 sigils, and we should be able to drain enough health from the final one by doing 2 full stabs, because at this point the barrel roll doesn't matter, that the little smidge of health that we left on the other ones shouldn't matter. And there we go, 1 cycle Phalanx. Poor aggro, just off in the distance there, like, I'm not going to be a part of this. We don't want to hurt him, but we want to hurt him as fast as possible. Very true. So already, we're coming up kind of to the final couple of Colossi here. The next one, I would argue, is a lion. It's another one that I think people say is a dog. But in the meantime, while we are solving the large terrain puzzle that makes up most of his arena, what kind of games and such are we expecting, like, immediately after this? I can't remember who's after me.
Oh boy, we're going on an adventure after this, Sable. We're going into 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. So we're going from, like, slaying big old creatures to running around and playing. I'm told it's like Halo, but you play as 50 Cent, and it's similar gameplay though. I'm fascinated. It's gonna be a trip.
I don't see how there could be anything wrong with that. Everything is right about that.
Let me make it more right, wrong, questionable. This is the sequel. There was another 50 Cent game like it before.
That really just seals the deal.
But after this adventure of 50 Cent, there's Fallout New Vegas, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Donkey Kong 64 Randomizer, Banjo-Tooie, and a bonus Mario 64 run, because I'm sure you guys are going to get that in. Halo 3, Super Mario 64 Green Stars, and at the end of the night, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare.
Wonderful. what a day.
It's a very gun-heavy day. And then there's Banjo-Tooie and Donkey Kong. Although I guess Donkey Kong's got the coconut gun.
It counts. Alright, come on, Zenobia. Thank you. So if you remember playing this Colossus casually, this entire arena was just a bunch of these pillars and other similar buildings that you need to like trick Zenobia into continually knocking down so that you can continue to have platforms to get, you know, over and across the arena to where you can eventually fight Zenobia. We skipped all of that by doing a trick called Kaze Jump because of, you know, it was found by a runner named Kaze, where Wonder's little grabby hands that magnetize him to ledges every now and then can get us up onto a platform that we're not really supposed to get to without Zenobia having done the rest of the arena. So we just kind of skipped the puzzle, cheesed it a little bit. And now we've knocked this building down onto Zenobia, so just like the other tiny Colossus, its only sigil was protected by armor, and now it's exposed. Wonder, what are you doing? You are about to get mauled. By the thing that is definitely a lion, not some kind of dog, or whatever people say it is.
This just reminds me of the Pokemon discourse with the Gen 2 legendary beasts.
Yeah.
Some people call them dogs, but they literally, as confirmed by the devs, were modeled after cats.
Ouch. Well, and CJ, I'm pretty sure, excuse me, buddy, pinged me at some point on some tweet where, like, one of the people who designed them was like, I didn't want it to be a cat for sure, and I also didn't want it to be a dog, so I kind of just, I kind of just did both. And it's like...
Yeah. So it was cat, but then they were like, I don't want it to just be a cat, so they added a few design quirks in there.
Yeah.
But, like, it was still cat.
I think they look like dogs, personally. Except for when they look like cats. Suicune is a dog, right? Like, Suicune's definitely a dog.
I would give you Suicune as the most dog-looking one. But then you look at Raikou and you try to call it a dog,
no.
And
There's no way. And Entei is like, I thought he was a cat for a while, but then you see like the big goofy paws and like the puppo ears, and it's like, yeah, you're a dog though. Suicune is supposedly a leopard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a tiger, lion, and leopard.
And Entei is the lion, I would have to assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I think makes the most sense.
You don't think the saber-toothed tiger looks like a tiger?
Okay, well, if you say saber-tooth, then maybe I'm a little bit sold.
Okay.
Okay, here's Argus. We're gonna see if Argus is like the bane of our entire existence, or if he goes very smoothly. This is the hardest trick in the run. We're gonna try to get right up to his head. I need to not explain what I'm doing, I just need to do it. I will explain later. If everything works correctly, we're gonna do a sick launch and it's gonna look really cool. Hey, we didn't. It's alright. We could try again. We're gonna try this like a bunch of times if it doesn't work, because it's faster than doing it the intended way. So Argus has 2 points that we need to attack. One is in his hand, which you already saw me get. Wonder, can you move, please? Okay, Wonder just kind of glitched out for a second. And you're supposed to kind of get Argus to break the arena around him so that you can climb up and up and up onto a bridge and jump on his head. And I mean, that's where you can get the sigil on his head, which is obviously cool. But he also has this sword in his hand, which should, hypothetically... Buddy. Broski, really? The sword should be blocking our access to the sigil that I'm currently trying to get. But, as you can see by how challenging it is to do this, it is possible, but highly improbable, that you can stab it without getting him to drop his sword. Wonder is just like refusing because his like wrist bracelet is right in the way, and we can't stab from the wrist bracelet. We have to be on the fur. So we're trying to set that up, but of course that's only one part of a two-part trick, because what kind of speed run would it be if we could just do it and then it was done? Wonder Magnet Hands is really not living up to his name today, but that's okay. This gives me time to explain what's happening. So ideally, once that happens, one of his two sigils will be destroyed. And then we just need to worry about his head. But obviously we still don't want to solve this entire environmental puzzle. There we go. Get me into the hand here. There's his hand sigil. So we're going to try to use physics from his leg to shoot me directly up onto his head. I was practicing this before the run and did it seamlessly on the first try, which, as I said during practice, would curse me. So... we can't quite get the physics to get up there, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do, actually. We're going to swap what we do first, because I want to do this launch. Because I want y'all to see it. It's cool. Super cool. I wasted the dice roll. Oh, I totally did. The really, really nice thing, and this is why I run Boss Rush instead of any % usually, because we have this reset button, you know? When you're doing any %, if you miss this, like, too bad for you. You have to either get Argus to step on you, or you have to jump off this cliff in the background to die, which takes, like, forever, because this cliff is, like, 30 miles in the sky. And, the retry button is so much nicer. So we're gonna do this a couple more times. We will defeat Argus one way or another. But, I think it was Stocky and Tic Tac, two very good Shadow of the Colossus runners. I'm pretty sure they were running at a Speed Docs event. There we go! And, got stuck during a race because they couldn't do this. So, we did the head first, just because I wanted to show you what this launch looks like. Obviously now we still have the hand, and that's going to be a little bit problematic. So I'm going to figure out what to do on the fly. Apparently it's going to be land on the floor. Tell you what. Hey, this, you know what? Actually, this is the best of both worlds, because now you get to see literally everything. I'm going to defeat his hand this way, but you also got to see the launch, so you literally missed nothing. This is the entire fight. This is sick! Yeah! Step on me, bro. Really? You missed. You had one job, dude. Stocky got stuck and couldn't finish the race. Was it... I thought it was Tic Tac, too, that got stuck and couldn't finish. Maybe it was just Stocky. Rest in peace, man. So yeah, we get to do the rest of this fight. He has this little sigil right here, actually. That one that I just hit. That is causing him to hold his sword, like if we stab him there, he'll drop it. Which is, in fact, what I'm going to do. I'm going to stab him in that, get him to drop his sword. And we'll get into his hand. And it'll be great. There is also hard mode for those who are interested in something a little bit more challenging. That gives the Colossi more health, and they have more sigils. Sigils that you can actually see on their model where those sigils would be, even in normal mode. Argus here has an extra one on his chest, and it's kind of a nightmare. Hey buddy, I'm over here. I've been whistling to you this entire time. You're a lot more upbeat about this than on your own channel. It's because actually this is going really well. Like, just the Colossi so far have actually been very cooperative. Except for maybe Solosia. Like, our estimate is 57 minutes. And we're at 49 and we have 1 Colossus left.
Does that mean if people want more pets for the horse, they should get them in now?
That's very true. Very true. Buddy, do not turn around. Hello? Broski. Ooh, that's so much closer than I wanted it to be. Okay.
You know, it was intended. You wanted to make the viewers a little worried.
Alright, we are heading down to his arm here. We're gonna give him the good old funny bone stab to drop this sword. Because let's be real, if you have watched my channel, when was the last time you saw me get Argus to drop his sword? Never, right? So it's nice to actually see the rest of the stuff that's in the game. Hey man. Oh, sick. I was really trying to just get here so that I don't have to trick him into slamming his fist on the ground. We'll see how this pans out. I think he might be a troll about it, but at this point I'm invested. I want to see. Alright, Argus. Your doom is at hand. Uh-huh. You can't ban me, I'm the runner. That's right, buddy. That was actually kind of dope. You're not supposed to be able to drop down onto his hand like that. You're supposed to get him to drop the sword, and then you go onto the ground and, like, taunt him from the ground, and he'll try to punch you, and then his hand will be, like, where you can grab it. Which I didn't actually know. I had to literally have a speedrunner tell me that. Because as a child, I thought that the only way to do it was the way I just did it. The way that you're not supposed to. Alright, last Colossus. So your last opportunity to give pets to good old aggro here. Malice is going to try to shoot me with lasers. This might take a couple tries. That's completely normal. All of these tunnels and shields and everything are supposed to be protecting me from Malice's lasers. If I play my cards right, which Malice is not going to let me do, we're going to skip all of these tunnels. It's extremely finicky. But the principle is, Malice isn't actually shooting at me, he's shooting at a spot slightly below my feet. So if I can get to a location where he can be shooting without... Oh, that's so close, we might be able to save this. Nope. He just sniped me. If we can get to a location where he can shoot at my feet without the blast radius coming up to hit me, we can just walk right past all of his lasers and it'll be fine. And it's very cool. And so again, I want to show it off. You'll love to see it. Don't do it to me, buddy. This is going wonderfully. So you can see he's shooting underneath me, not at me. We pause for one moment here. Across the way, take the shield, get in the tunnel. Wonderful. Tunnelless Malice. I think there's 3 tunnels and a little bit of like running in between all of those shields. in between each tunnel that normally is required to get you here. And that takes, you know, a solid probably 3 or 4 minutes, so we skipped it. Now the rest of Malice is a puzzle. I mean, they are all puzzles, but Malice especially is like a multi-stage, almost platforming puzzle. Once we get up onto him, his only actual sigil is on his head, but he has many little weak spots that can cause him to move his body. And we will see how that plays out as I get up here. But I'm out of the range of his lasers. Well, his laser shots. He has laser bracelets because that's just rad. It's like a lot of rain. He's got a waterfall cascading down and like, come on, man. So the laser bracelets can definitely hit us and send us directly back to the ground, which may or may not kill us depending on how high we are when it happens. Alright, so I'm going to stab him here just a little bit. A little tickle right in the spinal cord. And he's going to say, ouch, why would you do that? Which lets me get onto his hand. From there, I need to get up onto his shoulder, but he's not really going to let me do that unless I stab his hand, and then I'll hold it out to say, ouch, what was that? And then he's going to knock me off, because he's a troll, over to his arm. Once again, he's going to respond to me hitting him by saying, ouch, and bringing his arm over. I am so close to that bracelet. But we've transferred from his arm to his hand. And now once again I need him to chill with like spinning his hand around, so I'm going to stab it, which causes him to flatten it out to look at me. And over here on his shoulder is a weak spot. If he would just stop reaching for all of his wounds, I would be completely helpless. And then we are up on his shoulders, so time is going to end as soon as I deliver the final blow to Mr. Malice's brainstem. Oh dear. Why did you move like that, my man? Had to keep the suspense until the final moment. And this is his only sigil, so once his health bar reaches 0, that will be time. Excuse me, did I just meme stab? Really? He knocked me off of his sigil. But alright, we've got a plant, so he can't shake me anymore. And this should be it, I hope. And time.
GG, Sable.
Man, did I 5 seconds underestimate. Alright, it doesn't get closer than that. We spent all that extra time on Argus. And to be honest, a little bit on Celosia as well. Do we have any final horse pets I must attend to?
Not that I'm seeing, no. So just any shout outs or anything else you want to pitch real quick?
Yeah, well, I want to shout out the entire team, you know, everybody on tech and the mods in chat, just everything, because y'all don't get enough love for the stuff that you do behind the scenes. It's not just obviously about the runners and the commentators and all that, it's also all y'all. And if you're interested in any of the Team Eco games, you saw me run Last Guardian last week and Shadow the Colossus today. There's also Eco, of course. We're all one community for all 3 games. And we're super, super friendly. I would like to think we have among the most comprehensive speedrun guides that I have ever seen for every game. So we try to make it easy, and we're really nice. And there's like so many categories, so there's something for just about everybody. Come hang out with us. But thanks for having me, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day. I will let you enjoy the next run, which sounds absolutely wild. See you later.